All right, bro. Got another episode of Speakeasy Jax. It's super exciting. I've had so much fun the last couple ones. The new season, talking in our new studio, and we got a great guest today. I think you're really going to enjoy it. Probably one of the most entertaining people in the city of Jackson,
without a doubt.
So we try to bring people into the show, Curtis, that people know who they are, but they really don't know who they are. And so we're super honored to have you here and Speakeasy today.
Appreciate you having me.
Serial entrepreneur, a business guy, loves the chamber. But I think most people in Jacksonville know him as the big cat, the original Jaxson de Ville. And so, man, I cannot wait to talk to you and hear your story today. So welcome to Speakeasy Jax.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
So everything that we try to get to is what's the story behind the story. And it's all unfiltered. Like whatever you say today, we don't have a script. Okay. We're just going. And so I'm pretty excited about it. It's going to be a good one. So what would you say, where did you grow up? What was your home like when you were growing up, and where was it?
Well, you say the word hustler. I grew up in Jersey.
Okay.
So, and I can go right back to that accent in a little bit without much trouble. But I grew up mostly in Jersey, but that was second grade through high school. And then before that, we moved around all over the place. And I always say this, and people think it's military, but it was North Carolina, born in Pennsylvania, Virginia, Egypt, back to North Carolina. And everybody always does that. Egypt.
How'd you get to
Egypt? What are you talking about? They're like, oh, your dad must be military. I'm like, no, AT&T.
Okay.
There you go.
My dad was part of the group that sold the first real phone lines to Sadat at the time, the president there, and the Egyptian government. And so, we lived in Egypt for a year. He was going back and forth, and we moved over there for a year. I did kindergarten over at Cairo American College, and it was something that imprinted on me at a young age, which was really cool. Made me realize how.
Do you
big
remember
the world is.
a lot of it, or
It is, a lot of Instagram type memories. Yeah. Even though Instagram wasn't around in 1980.
I got you.
But Instagram type memories, like I remember the pyramids. I remember going to the golf course. There's a golf course right below the pyramids in Giza, if you don't know that.
I didn't know that.
There's a golf course right below the pyramid that you're playing golf and you look up and it's like, oh yeah, there's the pyramids. Cool.
Okay, bucket list.
I was going to say.
And so I remember being on that golf course with my dad. My dad loved golf. I remember being on that golf course. I remember climbing on the pyramids back when it wasn't illegal. I remember, the places we lived in, little, scenes that happened. I remember getting hurt, over there and stuff. But it was one of those things where I just remember driving around at a young age and going, wow, this is a mass, this world is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is massive. And that helped me for the rest of my life. Realize that the place I'm at is a tiny little speck and there's so much more out there.
I have felt that too. Growing up in Jacksonville, I never really traveled much just because we didn't have any money to travel. And then you get the job at the chamber, and all of a sudden your job is to actually go sell Jacksonville all over the world. And you see all of these people at an airport or in a downtown or in London. And it's crazy to think how big this world is.
Yeah.
And sometimes we lose that here.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. We all do. We all think the world revolves around the spot we're in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you went to Egypt and then you came back.
Yeah, then came back and
us through
went to Jersey and grew up in Jersey, second grade through high school. I'm the youngest of 4 kids. So that's where the craving attention came from, and the mascot world, and being on stage. I loved entertaining my whole life. As the youngest child, you're always like, hey, look at me.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how I was in school. All my teachers will tell you I was a great young man, but I just needed to apply myself and also stop talking in class.
Right.
However,
I can't imagine you in class,
right,
entertaining the rest of the class.
I like to say now, if any of those teachers are still watching, you were wrong. Because I needed to keep talking. Yes. Actually, I went on TV and I had to talk, and my whole career is talking and trying to, hype things up. But yeah, I was okay at school, but I liked entertaining more. And when the teacher would ask a question to the class, if I saw an opportunity for a laugh, I took it.
Yeah,
I was like, I got a captive audience here. This joke might hit,
right?
And when the jokes hit, it just makes you come back for more. And so that kind of led me through, all the way into college. And my brother had gone to Virginia Tech as an architect, and I had visited there so much that you can't help but fall in love with Blacksburg, Virginia when you go there. And I went there, and I said, I'm applied a bunch of different schools, but got in there, and I said, yeah, I want to go here because I was very familiar with it, and went there and got my communications degree. And about a year and a half in, my buddies dared me to try out for the mascot.
So we got to walk through this process, because how do you hear about being? Oh, you're talking about mascot at Virginia.
At Virginia Tech.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so talk through that.
It was, so I had done it two times in high school. I had done the mascot for Westmore Central, the Wolf Pack. I had done the wolf costume twice, maybe less, maybe 3. But it was the semifinal state championship football game and the final championship football game that we won, state champs, my senior year. But I was literally standing there next to the cheerleaders, just hanging out, talking, whatever. And this semifinal game is about to start. And they said, hey, we need somebody to get in the wolf costume. And it's November in Jersey and it's cold.
Yeah.
And I was like, adding a layer of fur right now would be kind of nice. Plus, I don't have to worry about sitting in the stands. So I was like, yeah, give me the suit. So I throw the wolf costume on and run around out there. I was a big Notre Dame fan because my dad went there and my sister went there. And so I was a big Notre Dame fan, college football fan, knew the Florida State entrance. So I was like, I ran the team out with our school flag and threw the flag in the ground like the spear, Florida State. That's all the stuff I knew. And then I just had a blast. And I was like running around being a fool. And I'm like, this is fantastic. So I did that, whatever, go to college. And then me and my buddies were, we were the Cameron crazies at Virginia Tech.
Right.
Our dorm was the ones camping out for tickets. And when we got our tickets, we were the ones at the bottom of the row, leading the cheer, turning around, getting the whole crowd to do whatever cheer it was. And that just kind of led to, we were looking and I see the mascot and I was like, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. And like, yeah, but if you're the mascot, we don't have to camp out for tickets. And I was like, yeah, I probably have access to tickets and we don't have to camp out anymore. And I was like, all right, I'll give it a try. So I talked to them my freshman year and they said, we don't have an opening. And then my sophomore year, they said, yeah, we actually have a senior leaving. So we do have a tryout coming up. Went and tried out and won the tryout. And that was how it started. And I just literally got into it because all of my skits in college, I never, until about a year and a half in, I didn't think I was going to do this professionally. I was literally just trying to make my buddies laugh.
Right.
Like my skits and everything I was doing was like, some of them were literally directed at about 10 dudes in the stands that if they laugh, I don't care if anybody else likes this, but this is a funny inside joke that I'm going to do in the middle of 50,000 people.
Right.
What does a mascot tryout look like?
It's, at Virginia Tech, it was learn the character, for a week, learn the walk, learn the expressions and stuff. Cause you want the character to look the same year after year.
Right.
So they teach you a specific walk, specific emotions. Cause every time alumni come back, you want to be, that's the Hokey Bird. And you learn that stuff for a few days and then they say, all right, now we're going to do a tryout and you got to, there's some improv stuff where they'll call out things and you got to act. And then they also say, here's your 2-minute spot. You can put a skit together and do whatever you want, whether it's a dance, whether, some kind of beginning, middle and end, joke skit or something like that. And yeah, so I did that. And then my sense of humor has always been borderline. In the old days, I guess you'd call it, you get canceled pretty easy.
Right.
But I always liked to push the envelope.
Yeah.
I always like to, it's the kind of comedy to make you, make people like, let me see what their reaction is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see
shock and awe.
What can I get reaction out of somebody? And so, all the skits, like I said, I just did stuff to make my buddies laugh. And then I get in and about a year in, I'm also a competitive person, a little too competitive. I find out there's a competition for best mascot in the country. And I'm like, oh, I got to win that.
Yeah.
So I go through all the stuff. You put in a tape of all your best stuff from the year. You send it to the organization and they pick like 5 to come to the nationals for the finals. And I made it to nationals my first year. And I ended up finished second in the nation my junior year. And I win it my senior year. And I got a ring and everything. I should have brought the ring.
Right.
Got a ring.
They give a ring. What does the ring look like?
It's very small.
It's not like one of those big national championship rings.
No, very small. Maybe a little bigger than my wedding, silicone band here. It's very small, but it was for me. It was a competition, and it was also like, okay, cool. I can have a lot of fun doing this. And that was when that senior year was 95 time frame. If you remember ESPN at the time, Billy the Marlin and other mascots started to get on commercials.
Right.
Mascots were in the highlights every night. And I'm watching these cats on TV on SportsCenter, and I'm like, that looks so fun. I was like, my skits are funnier than that, but like that's really cool. And then I'm like, I gotta find out about this. This can't be a job. So I start calling some teams. I just call some random teams of guys, you know, the gorilla for the Phoenix Suns. I call the Suns. And I'm like, the guy who does the gorilla, is that multiple people? How's that work? Is that a full-time? And they're like, oh, full-time gig. And I'm like, get out of here.
They pay him.
They pay him like full-time.
Right.
Yeah, benefits and everything. I was like, you gotta be shitting me. So then I call around and I'm like, how do I do this? How do I get into this? And I get a sit down with who I thought was the godfather at the time was Billy the Marlin.
Okay.
I get a sit down with Billy the Marlin down in Miami through some great connections. Again, networking connections, you know, it's how
everything.
chamber and how everything works. I get a sit down with John Ruth, Billy the Marlin, and he sits with me for 3 to 4 hours, walks through the ballpark, and he starts telling me about the business, how to, you know, he's like, yeah, you're probably gonna have to find a minor league gig somewhere and do that for a little bit. And there's not a lot of pro gigs. Because at the time, there wasn't, not every NFL team had one. And so he hooks me up at that thing. He goes, our Charlotte, our AAA club, the Charlotte Knights, is having tryouts in February. And this was, you know, January 1st. And he goes, yeah, you should check it out. And so I call them and got invited to that tryout. They said, yeah, tryouts are in February. I call a week before the tryout to find out kind of what I need to bring and everything, and talk to a woman named Lisa Chico. And she says, yeah, you got to do this, this, and this. And I said, all right, when does the person have to start? Whoever wins this, when do they have to start? She goes, oh, yesterday. We have spring training starting like 2 weeks after tryouts. And I was like, oh, man. I was like, I graduate in May. You know, I'm a senior. I graduate in May. And she's like, oh, well,
sorry.
I'm sorry. And there's really no point in you coming. And I was like, I held on the phone for a second and I'm like, something in me. I was like, if you don't mind, I would really like to come to the tryout just to get the reps and see what this is all about. I want to do this. I'm going to do this professionally. I know this is going to be my job. I'd still like to come. She's like, fine, knock yourself out. You're welcome to come. So I go to the tryout, finish second at the tryout because I can't start right away. And the funny line that Lisa Chico gave me was, yeah, if this guy fails his drug test here, you know, down the line, we'll give you a call in a couple months. And so I go about my business February. I'm heading towards graduation. I go the next 3 months, you know, March, April, May. I graduate, and I get a call a week after graduation from Roddy White here at the Jacksonville Jaguars. And he says, we want to know if you want to try out for the mascot position down here. And I was like, I knew of Jacksonville because I had come here for the Gator Bowl the year before.
Right, yeah.
Virginia Tech played Tennessee in Gainesville that year because the stadium was under construction. So I knew of Jacksonville, had been to the Landing. You know, and gone to Fat Tuesdays and all that good stuff. So I knew of Jacksonville, but I didn't know of the Jaguars. I didn't know. I mean, I kind of was like, I know football. Oh, that's right. That was one of the expansion teams, you know? And so he said, yeah, you want to try out? And I was like, of course I do. But how the heck did you get my number? Like, why are you calling me? This is 1996.
Right.
Y'all, this ain't like.
It's not like you can Google you.
Pull up Facebook and, you know, you can't. Like AOL.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll find me. I'm like,
MySpace.
how did you find me? Because I literally, I thought it was my buddies messing with me.
Right.
I thought it was my buddy, because I had told my buddies, I'm going to be a professional mascot. And they're like, oh, okay. And I thought it was my friend just screwing with me, just totally messing with me. And so instead of almost cussing the person out on the phone, thinking it was one of my buddies, I said, real quick. Just in case. Where'd you get my number? Like, how are you calling me? And he goes, oh, we got your resume and tape from Lisa Chico at the Charlotte Knights.
That's awesome.
And I was like,
pretty cool.
No way. So had I hung that phone up and been like, oh, well, can't get this job and not gone to do a tryout, I don't end up in Jacksonville.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah. So I go whenever I would talk to high school kids and stuff like that, that's my message is take advantage of every opportunity, every door that opens for you, walk through it. Even if you think you know what's on the other side of it, walk through it, take a look, because you don't know which one of those doors is going to lead you to.
Think about my career. I had someone super bright star that's going to be fantastic in Jacksonville came by and saw me, and he's graduating from his college right now, asking about my path. I go, bro, my path makes no sense. Don't try to follow. It's like you. Like, who would have ever thought that you try out for your high school to be a mascot, then you go to Virginia Tech and you score that one, and then you were rocking the stands because you made your 10 buddies laugh, and so that's a career path. And people go, I want to emulate that. And I go, no, just find your own path. Don't try to follow mine.
Yeah, no doubt.
Doesn't make any sense at all, but it's pretty cool.
If you can find a big stuffed animal costume to wear for 19 years, it's a good gig.
It's a pretty good gig.
I highly recommend it.
Yeah. It had to be hot in Jacksonville, though. I mean, that was...
Yeah, it is. It's how I kept this girlish figure.
Yeah.
No, it was. That's just part of the deal. You just get used to that. You get used to losing 8 to 10 pounds a game. And,
yeah.
It's most of it comes back on with a 6-pack.
Sure.
That night, which is not now. I know in my older age, I know it's not great after you just lost all of your fluids to drink beer.
It's not how you want to do it. No.
It got delivered to my locker room. So what am I supposed to do?
Yeah,
Say no to it?
Yeah,
I'm supporting the sponsors.
Exactly.
Right. They were sponsors of the team. I got to support the sponsors.
So what was when you came to Jacksonville to try out, what set you apart from everybody else, or what was that process?
They had 50 people try out. For this thing. Now, again, you raise your eyebrows like, wow, well, they put an ad in the paper, a full-page ad in the paper.
It was invite only, but apparently not.
It was, but they went through hundreds of resumes. But they put an ad in the paper saying, do you want to fill these shoes? And it was like all at the time, you got to think 94, 95, 96, 95, Jacksonville. This place is just, everyone wants to be part of this team.
Yeah.
So there was of those 50 people, there was a lot of people there that, to be nice, they're never going to be a mascot.
Right.
These were super fans that just wanted to be part of the team. Didn't know how to be a mascot, how to, they took 8 to the second day. And of those 8, 6 of them went on to be professional mascots in major leagues around the country. And the thing that separated me was so funny, I think, was something I picked up at the tryout up in Charlotte. I show up in Charlotte for that tryout again. Driving down there, I'm in my track suit from Virginia Tech because I'm thinking we're going to put a suit on, we're going to get sweaty, like whatever. I show up in my track suit. I'm wearing a Virginia Tech sweatsuit. I walk into the offices and I sit down in the waiting room and I look like this and I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys sitting there, college guys like me. I see the Clemson mascot who I'd seen at camp. I see another mascot, in ties,
suits and ties,
in ties and shirts. And I'm like, son of I messed this one up. Oh, well, I'm the only guy in a tracksuit, So the Jacksonville tryout, second day comes, and the first day you tried out with no costume on, which was really weird. In the Bishop Kenny gym, 3 people sitting at a table, the president of the team, David Selden, there, Ann Carroll, who's, in charge of game ops and stuff, and one person from the mascot company, and you're in a gym with nobody in there, and they're like, now pretend there's a crowd here. So the first day you're in no costume. T-shirt and shorts, pretend you're in a costume. Make it to the second day, they have a costume for everybody. Everybody's got to wear the same costume. You get your 3 minutes to do your skit. They do some improv with you. And then after you finish in the costume, you're supposed to go out in the lobby of the Bishop Kenny gym there, take the suit off, come back in, and do the interview. Like 15, 20-minute long form interview. First guy goes, I'm number 4 in line. First guy goes out, finishes this thing, comes back in, pops the suit off down to the ground, steps out of it, and turns and walks in. I mean, he's drenched in sweat. Walks back into the thing and sits down. Next guy, pretty much the same thing, changes his shirt only. Third guy goes in, at least changes his pants and stuff and goes in there. I finish my thing. I'm watching all this and I see it. I had to change of clothes here. I finish. I run into the bathroom there in the lobby of the thing. I run into the bathroom and they come and I'm taking the suit off and trying to get, dried off. I mean, you're soaked. Trying to get dried off, trying to get this shirt on and this tie. And they knock on the door and I'm like, I'm coming. I'll be right there. Because they weren't. You need to turn this over. Right. And I come walking out. And what's funny is the guys that are there, like I said, I became really good friends with a lot of them because they became professional mascots. I come walking out of the bathroom and we knew each other from summer camps and other stuff. And I look over at them and they all look up like, you son of a bitch. Because none of them brought that. And I just look over and I was like, kind of wink at them, go in, do the interview. And from what Ann Carroll and Roddy White said, there was, like I said, second place guy went on to be the Atlanta Falcons mascot. Third place guy went on to be the Florida Panthers hockey mascot. Fourth place, San Jose Sharks. Fifth place, Dallas Cowboys. They said the thing that separated was we need somebody who not only can be a performer, but can run the business of being the mascot. And that's what put it over the edge.
That's awesome.
What was your skit that helped you?
Dude, you've done some crazy stuff too over the years. And we're going to talk a little bit about these.
Yeah. The tryout skit was I came out to do a cheer routine and I couldn't lift. I had a dummy, had a doll dressed in a cheerleading outfit and I couldn't lift the doll. The doll was like for some reason too heavy. I couldn't lift the doll. And I was like, why is this girl so heavy? Why can't I lift her? And I pull the shirt back and it says Green Bay Packers, you know? And I was like, oh, and then I ripped that shirt off and it's a Jaguar shirt and then I'm able to throw it through the roof.
Right. Yeah.
And like just silly stuff like that.
Yeah.
I had fake money. You know, when I came out of costume the day before, I had walked up with Monopoly money to the judges. I walked straight to the table before I was going to start my bit. And I just walked up. I was like, hi, Curtis Dvorak, contestant number, whatever. It's a pleasure to meet you. Here you go. If you're thinking about who to hire, this is just a little bit extra added bonus incentive. Little joke. Then the next day when I come in the costume, I had purchased oversized money for a mascot. And it was massive bills. Because all they knew is contestant one, they were trying not to know who was in there of the name. They just wanted to be able to compare performance. So I had given them money the day before. I give them money the next day. They immediately knew which person it was that was there.
So that's smart.
Yeah, just silly stuff like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you land the deal in Jacksonville. The city's going crazy.
Great time to be here.
The craziest skits I've ever seen on the field. Is that you coming up with the things that we all remember? And the most, I think the most important one is bungee jumping off the light posts at the top of the stadium. Can you walk through what you were thinking and how you talked them into letting you do that?
What are you thinking? Yeah, that was a question I got a lot from Wayne Weaver. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? That was a question I got a ton. But those were the skits and the things that I came up with was similar to like being in college, you know, sitting around with your buddies, sometimes at a bar, sometimes drinking. You were looking at the opposing team coming up. Something happens in the news about them, something the previous game, whatever. And like you just see little things to make fun of, little things to poke fun at. And that's where those came from. And it was mostly just like, I think this will be funny and let's try this. And Wayne, they were all about trying new things, trying to be different, trying to entertain the fans because we're charging a lot of money for you to come to the games. He wanted to have an entertaining product because we can't always control the score. Right. You know, game might, be a dud, but we can try to give people their money's worth. And that was our motto on Game Ops. And I used to say it all the time. I would tell people on the team, like, listen, we don't control the scoreboard. What we do control is showing these people a good time with good music, good skits, funny stuff, like shooting t-shirts, like make them have a great time here. And yeah, it was just dumb ideas, like literally dumb ideas in my head that I thought would be good. Some of, a lot of them hit, some of them didn't. Some might've been considered inappropriate. I blame younger me. Anybody out there? I apologize.
Like
I was a young 20-something.
Naked Jaxson de Ville running across the field was pretty good.
Streaking. Yeah. I mean, that was wholesome compared to some of the stuff that, but yeah, it all same as like standing in front of in my living room with my family there, trying to make them laugh.
Yeah.
That's how I just went about everything with Jaxson was like, and you form this relationship with the crowd and they kind of started to know what to expect. And once they know what to expect, I wanted to take it a step further. Like if you like this, and that's why I always blame the fans out there. Like I got in trouble. It's your fault because you laughed at this. And I was like, oh, if they laughed at that, they're going to love this.
Right.
And occasionally there was as a mascot or a performer, you love cheers, you love clapping. But there's also a sound that is like kind of fun to hear. And that's either booing from opposing fans or a whole 20,000, 30,000 people going,
yeah.
Like either they're scared for you or I don't believe what he just did. I don't believe what I just saw.
Right.
That type of thing was like really funny.
You mentioned that some of them were duds. Was there one that stuck out to you that was like, I should have never, that was the worst idea?
There was one where I tried to be a DJ on the field, and cause I was into Premier League soccer and stuff. And I watched the way the crowd sing songs over there and I wanted to try and replicate that.
Right.
And so I created this whole DJ booth and went out there and I dubbed the music to different songs and tried to get the crowd to sing along. It didn't exactly hit, didn't quite take off. And that's also a terrifying feeling, but also a fun feeling because you're like, oh, whatever. Like you're in the middle of the field on the 20-yard line and a skid is dying. And it's just like, all right, sucks to suck.
Yeah. Get them next time.
When was the first time you jumped?
The jumps started actually as rappelling off the scoreboard. It actually started, I used to just do an opening skit where I'd ride a different vehicle around, a Harley or a cool hoverboard or something, hovercraft, or some kind of cool device, four-wheeler, whatever, ride around the field and beat up an opposing mascot. Got bored of that. I needed something different. And I started going up on top of the scoreboard and rappelling off it. And rappelling down the scoreboard and then running down the stands.
Yeah.
And I did this whole series for a couple of years we called it the Rappel and Run, where if Jaxson makes it from the top of the scoreboard to the 50-yard line at a Scream Machine in 60 seconds or less, everyone in the stands is going to win free beer. Of course, I'm not going to make it.
Right.
But there was always a different reason that I didn't make it. One time it was a cheerleader walked in front of me and I got distracted.
Right.
Jaxson gets distracted, like, oh, wait,
Yeah.
Another time it was an opposing mascot comes out and I beat the crap out of that, like literally 10 feet from the can where everybody's about to get free beer.
Right.
And I just get stopped. And the timer goes off and it's like, oh, sorry, folks, And that started to get to, it was like, well, okay, that's getting old. And then I was just sitting there one day and I'm like, if I can rappel off of this one, why can't we, like they do in arenas, why can't I tie a rope from here to there like it's a cliff edge when we're out, cliffhanger with Sylvester Stallone. Why can't we do that? You do it in rock climbing. Why can't we do it here? And we just put it together and we were like, all right, I talked to my buddy who had been a mascot and was starting a company to do stunts. And he said, yeah, we can do that. And so I went to Wayne and said, Wayne, I want to do this. And he said, do you have insurance? Show me an insurance certificate and we're good to go. Had to clear it with Haskell, who built the stadium, because Bill Prescott wanted me to make sure that it wouldn't pull the scoreboards over.
Right.
So I had to check with them, got that approved. And then once that was there, we just started writing the book on open air stadium stunts. Nobody had done them. And the stuff we were doing the early years, that's why people were like, oh, the jump now. I was like, the jump now is a Busch Gardens ride.
Yeah.
It's so easy. It's so tame. The first year we were doing single line zip lines.
Yeah.
Now it's a double line. We were doing single line zip lines. And when you look back on that, you're like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
That's one failure point. Like one failure point. That rope goes, anything happens, like you have one failure point. Not smart. But we were writing the book on it. There was nowhere you could look to be like, how do you do this? And so now everybody's doing it. Now a lot of teams do it.
When you're thinking about that, does any of that put fear in your heart or mind? Like I could never get up there and jump off of the lights or the scoreboard. Is that something that you are good with? Like you yeah.
With 3 young kids now, 1 on the way, not anymore.
That changes your mentality, man.
It's not even that I'm like scared to do it. It's just like I have no desire.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the risk reward isn't there. But at the time, I've always been an adrenaline junkie.
Okay.
And so for me, that was always like, I want to push the envelopes of what anybody's ever done in a mascot costume. I want to do things nobody's ever done. And that's usually what I tried to do. And that's what one of those was like, nobody's ever done this. Stuntmen have done it in movies,
right.
But I'm doing it in a costume live in front of an audience. And so the only time I got nervous, and there was multiple nights that I, tried to go to sleep and you can't sleep because you're so wired. Multiple nights I woke up flinching, the flinch wake up where you're having a dream and you're just like,
yeah,
that something breaks. That something, because during rehearsal, the stadium's empty.
Yeah.
The stadium was empty during rehearsal. And so you're up there, sometimes it's raining, sometimes windy, but we have to get the practice jump in. And those are the times I'm sitting there like looking at an empty stadium going, there has to be another way to make money. There has to be another way to make money. Like this is crazy because if this doesn't work here, if something happens here and they just fill in the divot in the field and they put somebody else in the suit tomorrow.
Yeah.
But by the time we got to game day and I'm up there and the crowd's there,
hyped.
At that point, I didn't care about my life. Yeah. I didn't care about anything. I was like, if I go down, this is going to be epic and I will be remembered forever.
Your 10 buddies from Virginia Tech.
It'll be on tape forever.
Yeah.
It'll be recorded forever. My death will be recorded forever. In your 20s and 30s, that is a logical thing to say. At 51, it's really stupid.
Yeah.
Like if my son ever comes to me and says that, I'm going to be like, you're an idiot. Life is way more fragile than that.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was just like, this is going to be epic. I just want to do something that, is going to be
remembered.
What about when you lit yourself on fire?
It was an accident.
Talk us through that because I was standing right there.
That was an accident. But I did want to do it on purpose. Wayne wouldn't let me. I wanted to do a BMX jump lit on fire like Will Ferrell from Old School. And he said, no, I got to stop you there.
Too far.
But that was one of Fred Taylor's last home games. Him and Maurice Jones-Drew were coming out for intros together as the final names being announced. And I had told my photographer, I said, hey, I want to get an epic shot between the pyro. So right as the last guys come through, I'm going to run in front of, in between the two pyro things, because I know they blast the last bit of it. And I want to just be like this, get the shot. And so I run in there. He takes the shot. Cool, we're going to Anthem now. Things are moving. I stand at the sideline waiting, and I'm like, nah, I've not smelled that smell.
It smells like carpet.
I was like, I haven't smelled that smell before. I was like, what is that smell? I don't know what that smell is. And I'm like, I'm looking at the pyro boxes being moved. I'm like, one of those is on fire. That has to be sulfur. That has to be something from the pyro box that's on fire. And I'm like, whatever. Turn, standing there, security, one of my guys runs over, one of the CSC guys at the time runs over and goes, Curtis. And I'm like, what, man? He's like, you're on fire. I'm like, I know that was a pretty cool intro, wasn't it? I was like, he's like, no, you're on fire. I'm like, what? Oh. And I'm like, so I bend my head down because he's like, put your head down, because he's going to try and like pat it out. I bend my head down like this, and all the smoke and everything went into the mouth and up into my face. And I was like, oh my God. I immediately turned, sprinted into the tunnel, reach up underneath, pull the double chin strap, unsnap, throw the head on the ground, and it just goes,
man.
And the whole thing just ignites. So, public service announcement: synthetic fur, highly flammable.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. So I was like, what the heck happened? And it was a cold gerb. Cold pyro goes up and then it fizzles out by the time it hits the ground. The wind was blowing sideways. The cold pyro came out of there and blew straight sideways, and one of those little embers stuck in the head and just started a fire there. And I got a great shot of it. I can pull it up here. I'm sitting there walking, and at the time this is taken, I do not know that I'm on fire. I didn't realize that the head was on fire at this moment, and it just is so funny to me because Jackson's just walking around like, Humpty-doo, like no big deal.
Yeah.
I have no idea my head's on fire right there. And that was
that's pretty scary.
That's that's not a little fire.
Look at this right here. That fire,
that's underneath your
that's right under my chin.
Yeah.
My nose is right there. That flame right there is under my chin. And I wasn't scared at the time because I had no idea until I see that picture after the game. And my assistant was white as a ghost when we got in the locker room. I was like, what's wrong, dude? Like, what's wrong? He's like, yo, man, I almost watched my buddy burn alive. Give me a second.
Like if it would have been more, you couldn't have gotten out of the suit.
Oh, if the whole thing caught on.
Yeah.
It was. I could get out pretty quick, but it could have done some serious damage. Yeah.
So you got an extra suit. And
there's other heads and suits in there, but the other head wasn't usable, and I was so bummed because this whole thing charred. And then all the fur melted. So I was like, oh man, I don't want anybody to know this happened. I don't want anybody to see a charred head the rest of the game. Because I can see the articles after the game, like Jaguars get torched by the Dolphins or whatever, whoever we're playing. And so I wrapped this bandana around my head thinking, nobody's going to know. I walk back out that tunnel, and the three sections there, 104, 105, 106, all stand up clapping. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to get away with this one.
Yeah.
Apparently a lot of people saw this.
Yeah, they did.
So
yeah.
I
would say you have changed the game on the mascot in professional sports. It's pretty cool. And to this day, the most electric time is waiting for the Jags to come out, and you have Jaxson de Ville,
I wish they'd move it back to right after Anthem. Those were the best ones. Right after Anthem, when I would do the jump immediately after Anthem, the last bit, firing the crowd up, that's when it just is so electric. They've moved it so far forward in the game now that there's not a lot of enough people there. And it really is one of those things where like it should be featured better.
Yeah.
Is there a mascot Hall of Fame?
There is. Jackson's in it.
Yeah.
Finally got in that a couple years back. So the Mascot Hall of Fame, Jackson was on the ballot like Fred Taylor for 5 or 6 years and just couldn't get the votes from the fans. And finally got in. But the character gets in. It's not a performer.
So you don't get to go represent.
I didn't get to go represent. I got invited to the game that they did the ceremony at. But I got put on the Jumbotron for a little bit while they did the ceremony, but wanted to get my kids down on the field for it, but was told no.
I think everybody, when they think of Jaxson de Ville, they think about you.
Yeah, I mean, the old school fans, the ones who've been around.
I guess.
Enough. I've been gone 11 years now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 2015 is when I took off.
Yeah. That's crazy to think how fast it goes by.
It's crazy. 11 years.
Tell us a little bit about what you're doing now. Now that the professional mascot career has come to an end, what are you doing?
I'm mostly chasing my 3 little kids around.
Nice.
Hanging out with my...
Tell us about them.
My wife, Jasmine. We're expecting number 4 in a few months, or 15 weeks now. We're at 25 weeks right now. And so number 4 is on the way. Dax, Enrique, and Dahlia, 1 boy, 2 girls, are super stoked about number 4 coming. And I'm trying to spend, as an old dad, as a 51-year-old, it started late. I've listened to all my friends and family and everybody who's had kids tell me, soak it in, soak it in, soak it in. It goes fast, it goes fast. And so that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, and to the detriment of maybe my, careers at times, because the toughest part for me since having kids as a dad is finding anything else to care about. Like, I was so into Jaxson de Ville. I threw my heart and soul into that. It was everything. It was everything to me. And now, like, to find my purpose outside of just being a dad and a husband is the biggest challenge I face each day with different jobs and stuff, because I just don't care about anything as much as I care about my kids and my wife. And I just want to be with them. And it's not I've had 9 lives in the suit, so I feel like I'm healthy. I feel like I'm going to live a long time, but like, you pass 50 and you just start thinking about that. You're like, I lost my mom at 27 years old. And so I think about that a lot. I think about, like, I just want to be around for these kids. Oh. And I also, God forbid something happens, you never know when you're going to go and stuff. Like, I don't ever want to look back and be like, I spent any of this time away from them. So right now, while they're young, I keep telling people I got a lot of irons in the fire. I'm trying to do, when people ask me what I do for a living that gives me life is I hang with my wife and my kids. What I do to pay bills, I work at the zoo and I hype that place up as much as I can because I love it and it's a 15-hour a week gig where I'm trying to get them as much attention as possible. But I tell people to go to the zoo. I tell people to support the zoo. I tell people to rent my bus. I have an RV that we've rented for 6 years. We've been in the RV rental business. I ask people to have me come out and speak. I got a couple bars at the beach, Lucky's and Hoptinger, that are little investments that since 2012. I just started this venture right here on my head, Pop's Hole-in-One Challenge. And that is, a little brand I've created, a game. As all golfers, we're degenerates. We gamble on everything. And so I created a game that me and my buddies used to do for free. And it's a hole-in-one challenge out of Blue Sky on the range. And I'm trying to build a brand that, I've always built brands in this city for other people. And I've done okay. Yeah. I've done okay building $1 million brands for other people. And, but business is business, and you build that brand, they own that brand. And when you go about your way, you're done. You don't get any of that. There's no residuals for jumping off light towers. Even though every mascot who jumps off a light tower, I should get a check.
Right.
I should get something.
You should get a royalty for sure.
But this is something I'm trying to build for my family. The logo is my dad after his 5th hole-in-one. I took the picture. It's actually at Glen Kernan, 17 at Glen Kernan.
Okay.
He hit driver.
Yeah. Have you played that recently?
Yeah.
It's a tough hole, man.
So fun.
It is. Like I played it the other day, and it was wind coming in at probably 15 miles an hour, hitting from 160 over the water.
Over the water, yeah.
And you're just like, this is no joke.
And they're big lakes, so the wind picks up some speed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so for him to hit a
driver,
hole-in-one on
185, I think at the time he put a driver in there, and I got the picture of him, and I remembered it when I was thinking of a name for the business, and I was like, wait, because I'm a branding guy, logos and stuff, and I was like, I think I have the logo, and I took the picture of him, turned it into a silhouette on Canva, and then that became the logo. And I told him, I said, I'm gonna make you more famous than the Ralph Lauren polo logo, Dad.
That's awesome.
And so, really cool. So it's a little family affair. My kids love going there. I'm teaching them about business. We homeschool, so they come there and count balls, and they see when people come, and they know the deal. Every day, my son asks me, how much we make today? How many people played today? And so, like, that part of it, whether this fails or succeeds, those are the things that I'm trying to cherish and hold on to, that, like, he's getting to see his dad try to be an entrepreneur. And I'm hoping that is something that builds in them. Like, they want to sell everything right now.
Yeah.
They love money. Like, they see it. They want to sell things. Like, what can we sell? They look around the house like, can I sell this? I'm like, yeah, we can. So I feel like I know there's good things going to happen, whether it succeeds or not. I know it's doing really good things for them, seeing me take a swing at something. and it's okay to fail.
Yeah.
But you got to try.
What a great lesson.
Pop's Hole-in-One Challenge.
Yeah.
Tell the viewers, listeners, how this works.
Really easy. Show up at Blue Sky Golf Club. Come on down there to the range. It's 50 cents a ball. And if you make a hole-in-one right now, currently we're playing for $3,000. We had a winner earlier in March that won $3,000 cash. He's actually a UNF baseball pitcher.
Wow.
Zane Starling, shout out there. I'm hoping he makes it big league one day, and then he can like endorse the franchise, and then we go crazy.
Yeah.
And we have buckets on there. We have Leprechaun Luck buckets that I call them that. They're 13-inch buckets behind the pin on this 20-foot by 20-foot green. And if you make it in one of those, you win a $100 gift card of your choice of one of Pop's partners. And Pop's partners are all the best restaurants you can think of in town. All your staples, Irish places, obviously, Culhane's, Lynch's, Matthews, Medore's, Midtown Table, the Beach Bars, Pete's, Lucky's, Hoptinger, Surfer, all of them. All of them out there. Angie's Subs.
Right.
Ed gives me some stuff. He's been great. Taco Lou. All of them. So, and it's a lot of fun. 50 cents a ball. And then I give away little cards.
And you can buy as many as you want. Like
you can buy as many.
You can play all day trying to get your hole-in-one.
That's why I couldn't get insurance.
Yeah.
Because insurance is like, how many shots you giving them? I'm like, I'm giving them as many as they want. Unlimited.
So how many did it take for him to get the hole-in-one?
He comes out a lot.
Yeah.
He comes out a lot. And but that's what's so funny is he comes out a lot because he's a baseball player and college kid, and he says this is his decompression. This is his get away from everything and just get to hit balls, and you get to win something if you make it. He won a bucket as well, and he won the hole-in-one, but he was out there probably once a week, hitting 50 to 75 balls. It's just kind of his thing. He just kept doing it. But we've had bucket winners who've spent, $50.
Yeah.
And I've had one bucket winner on the 5 free that I give away. Because I give away a 5 free card to anybody who plays the course at Blue Sky just to get them to try the game. Like a little taste of it.
Yeah.
A little taste, see if you like it. And I had a guy win on the 5 free, and I was like, that backfired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many?
I was like, are you going to buy balls now? He's like, no.
No, I'm good.
Right.
Don't need to
Here's
now.
a gift card.
I want to go spend my money.
How many gift cards are you giving away? I mean, there's a legitimate shot if they go out to win something, right?
Yeah.
We've given away 20 bucket winners in the 6 months, plus the 3,000. We've now given away over $5,000 in prizes in 6 months. And it's just a math game. It's just a math game that if I get enough people to play, this thing can keep going and it'll never stop. And for me, it was like I got a few goals. One, if I can, create something little for my family, that's great. But a golf is such a big deal to me. I love golf. My dad put a club in my hand at a young age. I'm sure like a lot of dads, he thought he, hoped maybe I'd make it on tour or make money playing golf. And I'm like, well, I'm kind of making money playing golf. I'm trying. So I just wanted to create a game that, would be something fun. My whole career has been entertaining people. So like doing something that doesn't like, I like the moments of life that are the things we're going to remember on our deathbed. The times you spend with family and friends and the good times that you have, the times you actually do the best parts of life, not grinding away in an office or whatever, all the other minutia that we have to do, but like the best moments of life. So I was like, I got to entertain people at football games, which is a great community event. I got to be on TV and showcase like the Chamber. I was basically First Coast Living is basically like a Chamber TV show. Companies come on and pay to be on there, and we try to get them as much business as we can. And I loved that aspect of it because I always felt, and probably similar to you with the Chamber, is like, if I can help in any small way with the businesses in this city for them to get better, maybe they hire more people, maybe their revenue goes up, that brings more to the community. That makes the city better. If our businesses here in Jacksonville do better, our city does better as a whole. And so any way I can help that is what I've always been into. It's why I've always gravitated to the Chamber. Like, I love what you guys do because this business is like, everybody who comes out there is having such a blast. They're disconnected from their job. They're disconnected from any stress in their life. They're hitting balls at this green, betting their buddies that they're going to hit it more than they are. They're having drinks because Blue Sky is a fantastic place for food and beverage. And they're in those moments of life that I believe are the ones we cherish the most.
Yeah.
The ones that we're going to remember on our deathbed. We're not going to remember the
Sitting
hours
in the
we spent
office.
at work. We're not gonna, you're going to remember the time you spent with people,
Mm-hmm.
and the fun you had.
It's a cool perspective that not only are you trying to, get a business to grow a little bit, but you're also creating memories for the people that are coming out.
And in the big picture, we bring more companies to town. There are more people with disposable income that love to play golf, that it's more opportunity for you and your business to grow.
Yeah.
I mean, all of it works together as long as we keep growing our city.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty cool. And it seems like you can take the Pops anywhere. I mean, like in my mind, I'm thinking, man, this could be a really cool place to stick here. Does it necessarily have to be at a golf course?
No, it can be just at a high traffic place.
Yeah.
The one I got the idea from is actually in New Zealand. It's a Lake Taupo hole-in-one challenge. People have seen it on Instagram. We all saw the same video.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the same video that millions of others saw back in 2024, I think it was. And I was, 2025, crazy enough to say, I think I can do this, or 24. And I was like, I think I can do this. And millions of other people saw it. And I had so many friends say, I saw that same video. And I was like, I saw it and I'm trying to take a swing at it. And there's other locations is the goal. I'm actually going to the Villages in a couple weeks because the Villages has a ton of golf courses. Should crush it over there. Yep. And so I'm going over there. I've had great inquiries from people messaging, going, and those are all the goals. If I can get this thing, franchises, it's just one of those things. Like, there's so much about it that, like, the things that don't necessarily matter money wise, but like, I just think it'd be cool. My dad's 85; he's still alive, and I just think it'd be really cool if I can build a business that lasts forever, and forever I get to look at a silhouette of my dad.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We
did, we mentioned earlier before the show, the closest to the pin with Andy Allen.
Yeah.
And he's a stick.
I texted him after I watched that.
He can dial it in. And so I think that we may have to come out and buy some golf balls and see if I can take some money from you.
Come on.
What do you sit at somebody call you and say, hey, bro, they hit one today? I mean, and you're just like, damn it.
No, so I cheer it on because it's my only marketing.
Yeah.
And I'm doing social media marketing mostly right now. And again, I'm learning a lot of lessons. I'm good at some things in business. I'm not good at other things in business.
Sure.
I'm learning that through this, that when you have to do all of the stuff, it's a lot harder. But my nephew is my only employee, Micah. And I'll see a text and we go, and it'll be bucket winner. And the other day when the hole-in-one happened, the phone rings and I see Micah and I'm like, no. Okay. I know it, like, he's not calling for anything, like,
right.
And he goes, hey, where are you at? And I'm like, oh my God, who was it? And he goes, it's our guy Zane, he made it. I'm like, no way.
That's awesome.
Finally, because we wanted somebody to make it so bad.
Yeah.
Just to be able to tell people, like, it's possible.
You mentioned Instagram. If somebody's interested in doing like a corporate type event or like bring the staff out and have some fun.
For sure.
How do they get in touch with you? What's the best way to go about that?
Hit us up on social, Pops Hole-in-One. It's on Facebook and Instagram. And we have a thing called a Pops Takeover. It's called a Pops Takeover, where you can come out and for an hour or 2 hours, an hour is only $150, 2 hours is $250. You and your crew get unlimited balls for that hour. We start a timer. We go, as soon as you take that first swing, boom, clock starts, and you have an hour to hit as many balls as you want. And one thing we haven't talked about, I took one of my old t-shirt guns and I converted it into a ball launcher. So if you don't play golf, you can fire balls out of my air wedge.
What a good idea.
And you can launch these balls at it. And we've had 6 bucket winners with the air wedge. I put the thing there because my wife was talking about, like, she's like, what am I going to do? I don't play golf. And I said, well, I'm going to create something that, because they have the one in New Zealand, they have a ball blaster, they call it. And I was like, that's a dumb name. But so I've
sounds
named,
painful.
It does. It's like, I don't like that. Maybe in New Zealand that means something different.
I don't think so.
But up here,
that's universal.
It just doesn't seem like maybe you meant it to be that. I don't know. So I called it the air wedge. It's spray painted at gold and it's got 4-leaf clovers on it. And you can shoot balls out of that.
That's cool.
But you get to hit as many as you want in that hour or 2 hours. I got a group coming out to do exactly what you're talking about. He's bringing his group from his church. They got a bus taking all of them there. They've got a cigar roller coming to be on site. I've got Manifest Distilling coming to do whiskey tasting for the guys while they hit. And then we have actually the Arlington Council.
Nice.
They do their, like one of their big annual events. I call it Drive and Sip, but I don't think that's what it is.
I was going to say, I don't know if the title should be Drive and Sip, but
it needs to be worked through some focus groups.
Yeah.
But it's basically their social out there where they hit balls at the range and stuff. And so they're going to come and take some shots too. But yeah, that's the best way. If you want to do a group outing or just come out, we're open noon to 8 every day.
I'm coming.
That's great.
Definitely doing it. So, bro, we're out of time.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Always are.
So we ask all of our guests to bring a picture or, something in. You brought something pretty special.
I brought something pretty special here. This is one of one. This right here. That shot right there, you can see on the camera. Jaxson right there. There's the paw print because I created that. My first month of work without a suit was creating what everything would look like, and I wanted a paw print on the front instead of numbers. And this jersey right here, if you look at this tag, I want you to see this. What does that tag right there say?
1996.
This is jersey number 1 from 1996.
That's crazy.
July or August of 1996. The first jersey. I've given away, there's blood. There you go. There's some blood. I've given away a bunch of old jerseys. That's one of the things I took because when I was leaving, I had all these extra jerseys. I've given away several to charities over the years. That one will never,
of course,
that will never go away. That's one of one.
Yeah.
That's gonna be with me forever. But yeah, 19 years getting introduced to this city as the big cat and falling in love with it, thinking I was going to leave and go to an NBA team because mascots are featured in the NBA more. And then I fell in love with this place, and Wayne was so good to me. Every opportunity, I had a chance to go be the Orlando Magic mascot, the Harlem Globetrotters mascot, and every single time he came and said, "No, you're staying here." And now again, I'm never leaving. I'm raising my kids here. To me, it's the best city on the planet, and yeah, I just love being a small part of its history.
It's so cool. It really is. And the stories, like, I think people are going to listen to this and just be blown away.
There's 1,000
how
more.
you got here. And then to finish with saying, dude, I love this place. I'm never leaving. I'm raising my kids here. That's the whole purpose of what we're doing,
I got on TV a bunch as the mascot defending this city when we were being criticized and we're going to lose our team to London and all that crap. I went after national pundits when they cracked on us as the mascot because I took it personally. And I still do. And I've always had that Duval till we die mentality about everything I do in this city. And that attitude that we all have is like, you can't say this as the president of the chamber and you got to go out there and be the PR and say, no, we want me. I really don't care if you don't like the city. Like if you're from some other place and you don't like this city, or you're living here and you think you don't like this city, like you haven't experienced it. You're missing out on what I know is a gem. And if you're from some other city criticizing us, I really don't care about your opinion. You know what I mean? And like, this place is amazing. This place is absolutely amazing for all the financial reasons, for all the no income tax, the amount of nature we have. The thing I love now, being a part of the zoo and with, conservation and stuff. How many cities, I live on the Heckscher Islands. Like how many cities can you go 5-10 minutes outside of town and you're in untouched nature? Yeah. Like you can be in parts of nature that haven't been touched by humans ever. And we live all around that. And I know progress is coming. We got to build some stuff and that's great. But like it's
a jewel.
To me, it's a jewel. Sure, it's a gem. And that's why Andy Allen, good friend. I mean, I love people like that and you guys and others who are championing this city nonstop. And, it's like everybody else, if you miss the boat, you miss the boat. Yeah. Like I'm not concerned about you. We're going to be fine.
They'll figure it out.
We'll be okay without you liking us, Tony Kornheiser.
Well, what a full circle moment to have QB1, first QB ever on season 1, Mark Brunell, and now the first Jaxson de Ville on season 3.
Coach Brunell now. Yeah, big time coach.
He's a great dude, great friend. Well, thank you so much for coming on. This is really fun. I think everybody's going to love it.
I appreciate you having me on.
Appreciate you being here.
All right, bro.
Thanks.